part of the whole SATE program, as you're probably seeing more and more through the year, is SATE Academy Days. And I've picked a couple of those to be involved in the main SATE presentation, because we held the big series in Europe this year, and we tried to get a couple of guys over, and luckily we have. Jakob, who's coming up now, is the media director for Europa-Park, and we had a SATE Academy Day at the park to look at their new ride, Arthur. But as part of it, he said, hey, we're doing something new. Do you want to come and have a look? Very brave of them 3 months ago to bring our industry in on what really at the time was just getting towards the end of a research and development and into production. I'm very proud to hear that it opened yesterday to great reward and cheers. So I'm going to hand over to Jakob, who's going to talk you through it all. Jakob.
Good morning. Yeah, for me, it's a first SATE, and it's really amazing. It's a great event, and I tell you a bit about my learning curve those days, because I arrived on Wednesday, and I said, yay, German beer, that helps, you know. And then I got here on Thursday, and there were all those fancy presentations with, you know, things sliding and everything, and here comes German engineering, you know, old school PowerPoint, but please bear with me. And then there was this talk about, you know, always being disruptive. And I said, disruptive, what should that mean? And I was kind of thinking, maybe I'm very crazy for a German, you know, family company. I don't shave. That's disruptive. But then I thought, maybe this is not what they're talking about. So I thought maybe more about the content. And then I was thinking about, you know, I present virtual reality. And we all use, you know, those little phones we talked about all the time about rectangular squares, you know, which do blinky things. And then I recently saw a picture from a friend, and he visited a zoo in Germany. And actually, I have to explain that, but I love it so much. They have a kids competition for cleaning in the giraffe exhibit. I mean, this is, for me, gamification at the highest point. I mean, seriously, the kids, you know, they clean like hell, and they come home and they're dirty and they are tired, and everyone is happy. So that's great. But this is not what I'm talking about. This is not technology. So, you know, I come back to my subject. And to explain a little bit what we have done is that we need to go 235 years back in time. And I first would like to question, who has of you ever been to Europa-Park? Oh, that's quite a few. That's good. It's good that it's not all of them, because then I would have needed to do a different presentation, because I explained to you a little bit the park to understand. Actually, we started 235 years ago in the attractions industry. As a family business, we built stagecoaches back then. And as the industry developed, we always, and we still are very keen on hearing feedback from our clients and from our guests. So we always question yourself, what are we doing? And having built those stagecoaches at the beginning, we certainly saw at a certain moment that people were interested in carousels. So we built the first carousel. In 1921, we built our very first coaster. And in 1951, long before novels with the flying turns, we opened the first bobsleigh in wood, because we saw that there was a market for that. And then it was a very, very interesting step, because it was in the 70s that Roland Mack, who is today one of the four owners of the park, went as the first person ever in the family to study. And after his first term, and I think there are some students here which might laugh, the first term, his father said, well, you're still not done with your studies after half a year. And so he said, you go to Canada and you try to build up a coaster, because he's very practical. So he went to Canada, his father visited him, and they went to see all the parks in the US. And they said, well, you know, that could be a market for us in Germany. There was not pay one price system yet in Germany. So they had the idea of building a park, not only because they saw that it was a market which worked, but also they wanted to have a showcase for the rides. They wanted to show to their clients, this is something which could work. So we looked for several locations. It was always very important that we stayed close to our manufacturing company, which today is still in the Black Forest, 30 minutes away from us, because we wanted to be close to the technicians who can help us and who can sell the rides, which is still today. So we opened in 75. It was difficult because we didn't find any banks to support us. We didn't find a brewery to deliver the beer. And initially we said, it is true. And initially it was said that, you know, we wanted to not operate the park, because we are not park operators. We were ride manufacturers. So we asked for a showman to come up with, helping us in operating the park, but he unfortunately died 3 months prior to the opening. So we had to step in ourselves. It was actually this young man here, Roland Mack. This doesn't look good in 4K, I have to admit, sorry. We operated the park. Same with food and beverage. We didn't want to operate it, but we did because no one else wanted to. So we had developed the park over the years, and we are very proud today that we are the biggest family-owned amusement park in the world, and we are the one with the park with the highest seasonal attendance in the world. There's no park which is not open 365 days a year, which has more visitors. So today we have 13 European countries. We have more than 50 rides. 90% of the rides are still done by MackRides. So you see, we still have this showroom idea, which we use every day in the park. And then we started last year. One or another might have heard about it. Maybe someone has even written it. We had done Arthur, which was for us a very big step because it was a prototype new ride. It's now listen carefully. It's a inverted powered spinning coaster. So the cars are powered at each time. They can rotate towards the scenes. They can launch. They can do more or less everything. And for the first time, we had done a cooperation with an external IP. So we went to a famous French director, Luc Besson, who has done The Fifth Element. And we brought him in, and we, for the first time, connected digital content. So you have some screens passing by in the ride. So that was a big step for us. We also have, a very big show program. We are proud, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have counted on a high peak season day in summer. We have 23 hours of show every day. So I don't think that there's any park out there which offers more show. And we are also very proud of our food and beverage department. We have here the Food Loop, actually a THEA Award winner, where you can order your food on a touch screen, and it comes on a coaster track to your table. Kids really love it, and they order more than they can eat because they just want to have this experience. So it's very good as well for the per cap, I can tell you. And and something which we are super proud of is that, some years ago, as we are family-owned, one of the family owners said, I want to have a fine dining restaurant. And we said, yeah, okay, you can do that. And then we received 2 Michelin stars after 2 years. So we are among the top 40 restaurants in all of Germany. And that obviously brings us a different crowd in which would have never visited an amusement park before. Comfortainment, a big area as well. You might wonder why I'm talking about comfortainment, but I want to illustrate that we have developed always. We have always seen kind of like a startup where what is asked in the business, what do people want? And we found out that people are really interested in holding conferences at amusement parks. I mean, you see it here in the US at the Kalahari resorts where they have, big comfortainment centers next to water parks. And there's a market. And for us, we have more than 1,300 events in that area. So we developed in that area as well. And hotels, which was probably the biggest step which we ever did. And it was once again interesting because we didn't want to operate a hotel. We saw that Disney was coming to Europe. And we said, well, why do they build 6 or 7 hotels and we don't have one? So there must be a market for that. And we reached out to hotel operators, and they all said, well, no, this won't work, this won't fly. So we did it ourselves. And we are very happy that we have 5 hotels now with more than 4,500 beds. And I can tell you we have an occupancy rate in average of 92%. So we have a luxury problem of not filling the hotels. And this is all showing kind of where we have developed. And you see that we crossed in the last year for the first time the 5 million visitor mark. And this is something astonishing for us because we never had a master plan. We said, we develop ourselves a bit and we see where we go. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm partially in charge for that. So, you can blame me. But we are opening a kids land next year and we haven't decided yet which rides we are building. It is, we say, well, let's see how the season works and let's see how much money we make. It's very on the go, very operational. And, we are still very proud of having those 5 million visitors. MackRides today is a very successful company. You might have all done Manta and SeaWorld San Diego or, Journey to Atlantis and SeaWorld here in the US. We have done many rides. And this was still one of our core businesses. And we are very happy to have MackRides and Europa-Park as the 2 core competences. But we wanted to develop further, and this is where the family comes into the game. You see here, Roland Mack, who founded the park with his father. This is his brother Jürgen. We always call him the Minister for Interior Affairs. He does finance, human resources. The two sons of Roland on the outside, so that is Thomas. He is, we call eat, sleep, drink, so food and beverage, hotels, and entertainment. And we have Michael, and this is where Michael steps into the game. He's a guy for strategic development in the park. He's done the construction, and he's also the connection between MackRides and Europa-Park. But he didn't stop there, and we had the vision of trying to be more than just a park. Initially, it started that Michael got a son, and at the age of 3, Paul is his name, he loved to play games on the iPad. And guess what? He always played Mickey Mouse. And he had a toothbrush with Mickey Mouse. And Michael said, what are we doing wrong? You know, why is my kid playing with a different character than with our character? So he said, you know, let's try to be a bit, you know, further. Let's try to build up some media content that we're not only taking place here at the location in Roost, but that we're going outside as well. So we formed the MackMedia company, and that was a step which was a long time discussed as well in the family, because not everyone shared the vision. You see here, yes, we have a mouse as a character. It's crazy. I know there's no other theme park in the world, I think, which had this idea. And by the way, we also have a Pirates ride, and we have a big structure with a coaster inside. So, you know, it's crazy. Those Germans came up with ideas. You have no idea. But as you see, actually, we always defend ourselves. In the beginning, it was not a mouse, it was a rat. You know, so we just developed it to become a mouse. But we developed the mouse over the years, and it was for us, you know, that especially Michael and Thomas in the 8th generation of the Mack family were kind of, you know, we call them the Euromaus natives. They grew up with that character, and we saw that the character is so widely popular, and actually it has access to 5 million guests a year and to 600,000 hotel nights. You know, we can put it everywhere on the screens, so we said we have to develop that further. And how do we want to do that? We had the idea, not only, you know, obviously, what are you doing with a character, with a mascot? You put it everywhere in the park, but we wanted to develop our first 3D movie. And that was, you know, a first shot, and we were careful in that, and we decided, you know, okay, let's not make it too expensive. So there was lots of sliding, lots of falling, more sliding, more falling. You know, the content was not too sophisticated, but we had more than 3 million guests watching it, and we saw it was an immediate hit. And then we approached actually N-Wave, the Belgian company, and they said, well, we can try to sell it to other parks. And it's funny when sometimes we have colleagues traveling the world, coming back from Malaysia or somewhere, and they said, well, I saw the castle secret in a park in Malaysia. And it was translated into 16 languages, so it was not only a big success for us at the park, but also outside, which was good for MackMedia to, you know, further develop that case. And for us, it was clear that for this year, for the 40 years, we came up with a new movie, The Time Carousel, which is, you know, more sophisticated. We got in a script editor, you know, it got more professional. And that was actually the same team from back then reached out to us, and we did this movie, and it's been a huge hit in this year. But we didn't want to stop there. We didn't want to only, you know, be in the 4D cinema in the park. You see here the layout. We also wanted to be outside the park. You know, we wanted that kids take us home, that, you know, they share experiences, that they have a connection to our character everywhere where they are. And for us, this year, we launched our very first computer game. This is not, you know, this is not rocket science. It's a computer game, but it was an important step in the way that for the first time we didn't only sell something on site where the park is, but also in shops all over Germany. You can download the app and everywhere. So, you know, we made a big step of going outside the park. And that was only the first step. You know, we decided to do more music. We developed our own musical, which we are thinking about touring in Germany. We started with characters. We bring out the characters to the screens, and we are looking into movie production. We will have a full feature film for the next year for the first time, which will launch in cinemas across Europe. And, you know, this is where we have decided that a classic theme park, which we have been, is not enough anymore, because people want to use the little screens. They want to have big screens. They are just, you know, we needed to adapt. And this is something which we have always done over the years. As you have noticed, you know, we started with a complete different business with stagecoaches, and we became a theme park operator, and then we became a hotel operator, and now we are a media company. And in that matter of fact, we were looking into, you know, not only offering those products, but then, and now I'm actually coming to the real content of the presentation. It just took me like 20 minutes, sorry. to the VR coaster. It was not with skepticism that a professor from a German university reached out to us and said, well, I have a task for my students, and I had the idea of using Oculus Rift glasses on your coaster. And my student groups had to do a layout for the Oculus Rift so we can ride the coaster. And we are very kind of, yeah, do we really need this? We are a ride manufacturer. We said, maybe a park doesn't want to build any more coaster because they could upgrade an old one. And we were, not very excited, to be quite frank. And then he came over, and it's actually this guy who mounted a computer on the Blue Fire coaster, which is a launch coaster with approximately 80 miles, 4 inversions. And he rode it like 30 times in a row because he needed to control it, and someone was sitting next to him riding the coaster with this animation. And we said, well, it was interesting. We said, maybe this could actually fly. And then we said, maybe we give it another shot. And we sat down with him, and we formed a company between Europa-Park, MackRides, and him, and started the VR coaster project. We have a very old coaster in the park, which is called the Grottenblitz. Difficult word to pronounce, I know. You don't have to repeat it. Maybe it's something for the app game that you have to pronounce it or something. I don't know. It's an old powered coaster. It was our first coaster, 30 years old, maximum speed probably 25 miles, 30 miles. And he said, well, I can do something with it. And we said, okay. And he came up with an animation. We gave him the material of the first 3D movie, of The Castle Secret. You remember the sliding, the falling, and all that. And he said, okay, I will produce a movie for that. And then we had the first tests, and we all got off, and we were astonished. It was really, really great. And the Germans tend to not be overexcited, but we all got off and said, this has potential. So what we did was, and I will have now an animation which shows it, and I will talk a bit over it, that you explain it, or that I can explain it. So you see here, can we turn off the sound? Okay. Yeah, so you have the glasses on, we hand them out, and here you see the animation. On the top you see the people riding it. And the system is actually connected, there's a sensor next to the wheels, which is connecting to your glasses, to the VR glasses. So it always shows you in which position of the ride you are. So it can adapt. If the coaster is going slower or faster, it always knows where it is, so you don't get motion sick. If you would watch the movie at home, you would get motion sick. But as it's synchronized with the ride, it works out perfectly. You see here this little box. So we could do most of the things, actually. We can become interactive. We can, make a space adventure, and where we have maybe the seat vibrating if you get shot at or something. There are like different options. Right now, it's only the optical. We have loudspeakers in the car because right now we only have one movie. But at a later moment, we could. Okay. At a later moment, we could think about as well, offering several movies that people can rent the glasses, and then they can switch between several movies. So you see here the first reactions, and actually we tried it as well on a different coaster, but for the moment we only have it on that one. And the world premiere was yesterday. The press conference took place yesterday. We have the first guests riding it. I mean, TEA, they were there. It was kind of a test dummies, so we're very happy that they were there. But it was, for us, we have very good feedback. Obviously, there are some challenges which you could all imagine as being designers or operators in this wonderful world of theme parks. We have operational challenges. What is with hygiene? We need to clean the glasses. What is with capacity? They need to be adjusted, when you sit down. So for the moment, we have only done the 5 first cars, and you need to register. So we only offer it to season pass holders, to hotel guests, and to people who have like some kind of voucher which they can use in the park. So that was, initially the idea of having that. And launch was yesterday, and we have a first trial period now for a month where we test. We will have little bugs. Actually, it was funny because during that time we invited some friends over, some clients, and sometimes it didn't work. And then we realized some funny mistakes. For example, at the beginning, we had some people couldn't ride it, and it was not connecting, and we didn't figure out why. And then we noticed all those people had a Apple Watch. So the signals of an Apple Watch were interfering with our Bluetooth system. So that was, a very good lesson to learn for us. And but you know, we continued with it and we further developed it, and now we have a system which actually works perfectly, and we have once again huge feedback from the guests. And this is something, you know, where we always discussed it. Do we need to bring VR glasses in the park? We have a beautifully themed park. Do we want them to look at technology? Do we want them to always look at the mobile? No, we don't. But in the end, they want it. So we need to offer them something which is of interest for them. In a perfect world, you know, we come back to the cleaning competition. You know, they should just focus on what there is outside the park. But they want to use the phone. So this is why we developed this system. And I think this is really a great advancement of an existing ride. And we don't want to equip all the coasters in the park with that ride, with that system, because as great as it is, you still kind of separate yourselves from the others. You know, you are very limited. You don't see the person right next to you. So maybe at a later stage, I mean, if someone would have told me about that 2 years ago, I would have never believed it. And we don't know what happens in 2 years. Maybe, you know, you can see the person sitting next to you who is part of that ride as well. I don't know that, and maybe there are people out here who have an idea. I don't know. But for us, you know, it's really kind of, as we have always been, a work on the go. And this technology, we have switched from Oculus Rift to Samsung Gear, and we are very happy with it right now. But we also see that, you know, Samsung reaches out to us all 3 weeks, all 4 weeks, and says, well, you know, we might have an update, so, you know, look at that. So technology is moving so quickly ahead that we don't know how this offer will look like in a year, but we theoretically could imagine, you know, rent your glasses for the day and, you know, switch between 10 movies, and I think it would be a great upcharge offer for all of us. But that should give you an idea, and I see I'm actually way too fast. Sorry for that. I could have shown more funny pictures from zoos in Germany, but, you know, I hope it still gave you a good impression of what we have done and where we came from, and that this, you know, I don't want to talk about if this is the future of coasters. I don't think it is, but it is, I think, a very interesting tool of an advancement which we haven't seen before. And this is why I was very happy to be here and to talk a bit about this technology. So thank you very much for inviting me. And I have actually one more thing to say, as we are very happy to be in this. No, it's okay. No, you can be here. As we are very happy to be in this really great group. You know, I think what is very nice about it is that we all kind of sit in the same boat, and we are always, you know, you have seen we're looking to games, and it's always, you know, when you have great ideas, we are always open to any kind of ideas and young talents. So also, I'm not sure if the students are still here. You know, if you have any questions, always reach out to us. We are always open, because I think, you know, as a family business, we always want to develop ourselves, and we're very short decision ways, which is sometimes very nice, sometimes very difficult, because if you come up with an idea, your boss can say, well, you know, I want to see it next week. But, you know, it's very nice to be here, and thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
No, I do. All right.